Hi, my name is Lila Seymour, and this is my final art paper. The Birth of Venus. The Birth of Venus, painted by the Italian artist Sandro Botticelli and created in the 15th century, is a painting that remains to be a significant masterpiece, known for its beauty, symbolism, and historical context. The central figure in the painting is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. She is shown in the middle of the canvas, a beautiful woman with flowing hair standing on a shell that is being carried by the wind and waves. The shell representing the birth of Venus from the water as she is born fully grown and beautiful. The wind and waves represent the forces of nature that brought Venus to the shore. There are two figures on either side of Venus. The figure on her left is Zephyr, the embodiment of the seasons, and the figure on the right of her is Chloris, representing the season of spring, who is holding out a piece of clothing, blowing in the wind in an attempt to cover Venus. The presence of the surrounding figures represent the idea of the cycle of nature and time through the changing of the seasons. The figures in the painting are surrounded by the elements of nature, including flowers and trees. The flowers represent beauty and fragility of nature, while the trees represent the strength and stability that nature holds. The use of color Botticelli chose for this painting is meaningful. Venus is depicted in a soft pale pink, which represents her beauty and innocence. The sky and sea are a bright, vivid blue, representing the power and majesty of nature. The flowers and trees are depicted in a range of colors, representing the diversity and richness of nature. The birth of Venus is also significant from a historical perspective. The painting was created during the Renaissance, a time of great cultural and artistic change in Europe. The painting reflects the humanist ideals of the Renaissance, including the celebration of beauty, nature, and the human form. The painting also reflects the influence of classical Greek and Roman art, as Venus is depicted in a classical style. The Birth of Venus is a masterpiece of art that is rich in symbolism and meaning. The painting represents the beauty and power of nature and the humanist ideals that the Renaissance was made up of. The painting was created in the 1480s and is significant for its historical context and symbolism. The painting was commissioned by the Medici family, who lived in Florence, Italy. The Medici family was interested in reviving the classical ideals of ancient Greece and Rome, and the Birth of Venus reflected this interest. The Birth of Venus, recognized for its symbolism, the shell that Venus is standing on represents the womb of the sea, from where she is born, symbolizing the idea of rebirth and renewal, which was a popular theme in Renaissance art. The winds blowing on Venus represent the forces of nature, while the three figures, who are personifications of the seasons, represent the cycle of life and the seasons. The painting is also known for its portrayal of the female form. Venus is known as a beautiful and idealized goddess. Here we are able to see her with long flowing hair and a slender yet rather proportional body. This depiction of the female form reflects the idealization of beauty during the Renaissance and the influence of classical Greek and Roman art. The Birth of Venus also reflects the political and social context of the Renaissance. The painting was created during a time of great political and social change in Europe. The Renaissance was a time of great intellectual and artistic activity, as well as a time of political turmoil, with wars and conflicts between the city-states of Italy. The painting can also be seen as a commentary on the role of women in Renaissance society. Women during the Renaissance were expected to be beautiful and virtuous, and the painting reflects this fantasy of the female form. However, women were also often treated as commodities and were not given the same opportunities as men. The Birth of Venus can be seen as a celebration of the feminine, but also as a reminder of the limitations placed on women at the time of its creation. The painting reflects the historical and cultural values of the Renaissance, representing the intellectual and artistic themes at the time, as well as the interest in classical mythology and the romanticism of beauty. The painting is a testament to Botticelli's talent as an artist and his ability to express complex ideas through his art. The Birth of Venus by Sandro Botticelli and the sculpture Venus de Milo, created by Alexandros of Antioch, are two works of art that share similarities in their depiction of the goddess Venus. Both works of art represent Venus as a beautiful, flawless woman. In The Birth of Venus, she is painted on canvas and is shown rising from the sea on the shell, while Venus de Milo is a statue, but with similar body language to The Birth of Venus. Both sculptures emphasize the beauty of the female form, with Venus de Milo being a prime example of classical Greek sculpture, and The Birth of Venus reflecting Renaissance ideals of beauty. The two works of art also share a sense of timelessness and universality. Despite being created in different historical periods and artistic styles, both works of art continue to be celebrated and revered as masterpieces of art. The Birth of Venus, painted on 2 canvases sewn together at 172.5 by 278.5 centimeters, is currently on display at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy. To create the painting, Botticelli used tempera on canvas, a technique that involves the use of egg yolk mixed with pigments to create the painting. The use of tempera allowed Botticelli to achieve a high level of detail and precision in his work. The painting shows the goddess Venus standing on a shell, surrounded by other gods and goddesses waiting there by her side to welcome her. With the wind god Zephyr and the nymph Chloris on either side, the composition is carefully balanced with Venus's pose and the curve of the shell, creating a sense of movement and fluidity. Botticelli's attention to detail is evident in the intricate patterns and details of Venus's garment that the figure on the right is holding. The subtle shading and highlights give the painting a sense of depth and dimension. The color palette is soft and muted, with pastel shades of pink, blue, and green dominating the scene, symbolizing the color palette of spring. The Birth of Venus is an important and influential painting that matters for many reasons. It is considered one of the greatest masterpieces of the Italian Renaissance, a period of great cultural and artistic achievement in Europe. The painting represents the ideals of humanism, which placed great emphasis on the beauty and perfection of the human form, while still portraying realistic body standards and proportions for such an idealized goddess. The painting makes sure to incorporate elements of ancient mythology and the use of classical drapery. The Birth of Venus has had a significant impact on art and culture throughout history. It has been widely reproduced and referenced in various forms of media, from advertising to film and literature. The painting's fame and popularity remains a testament to its timeless beauty and elegance. By studying The Birth of Venus, we are able to gain a deeper appreciation and understanding of the Renaissance period, the role of art in society, and the enduring power of beauty and symbolism in art. Sandro Botticelli expertly employs various elements and principles of art in The Birth of Venus to create a harmonious and aesthetically pleasing composition. One of the key elements he uses is line. The painting features strong flowing lines that create a sense of movement and fluidity. The curve of the shell, the curves of Venus's body, and the drapery of her garment all contribute to this effect. Botticelli also effectively uses color to create a soft and muted palette that enhances the ethereal quality of the painting. The pastel shades of pink, blue, and green, combined with subtle shading and highlights, create a sense of depth and dimension. The principle of balance is clear in the composition. Venus's pose and the curve of the shell create a sense of balance and symmetry, while the figures Zephyr and Chloris on either side provide a counterbalance and create a triangle. The figures are painted with great attention to detail. The colors are applied in a way that creates a soft, ethereal effect. The intricate patterns on the clothing of the figures and the flowers are methodically crafted. Botticelli's expression is clear in the way he depicted the figures, elongated with graceful flowing lines that accentuate their beauty and sensuality. The poses of the figures are also carefully chosen, with Venus standing in a contrapposto pose that emphasizes her curves and femininity. Botticelli's use of tempera paint allowed him to create a luminous effect in the painting. The painting has significance for me personally because I'm Greek. My ancestors are from Greece, with my great-grandmother's name being Athena and my sister's name being Persephone. I've grown up surrounded by and immersed in Greek tradition, mythology, and culture my whole life. This painting is meaningful to me because it represents the culture and beauty of Greek mythology while providing an imaginative and serene portrait of the Greek goddess being born and arriving at her home. The painting is a testament to Botticelli's talent as an artist and his ability to express complex ideas through his art. The Birth of Venus is a timeless piece that continues to inspire and captivate art enthusiasts, historians, and others today. Botticelli expertly uses line, color, balance, proportion, and symbolism in his painting in order to create a beautiful and harmonious composition. His use of elements and principles of art reflects the humanist ideals and classical influences that were vital to the Renaissance. Thank you for listening.